Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Season 6 of Stand Up and Stand Out, Parte y Destacate. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Nikki Green, and we're taking it back to the old school with our original guest interviews you have come to love. We spent the last 2 seasons learning more about the 2 books I launched this year, Chameleon Mindset and The Great Leadership Awakening. And now that I've come up for air from the writing and publishing process, I wanted to reach out to my network and share more of the great work others are doing. I hope you enjoy Season 6, and I look forward to hearing your feedback and comments on the fascinating topics we will cover with each of these new guests. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's solo episode of Stand Up and Stand Out. Normally, I kick the season off with a solo episode, but it's been so crazy with my travel schedule that just didn't work. And we had some critical dates we had to hit to help support some fellow authors and bring some sunlight to all the great work that they're doing. But I wanted to come back and go ahead and do a solo episode so we could talk to you guys about this season's theme. So as I sat down and, on many, many planes and airports, reflecting on the past 5 seasons of Stand Up and Stand Out, I really started to see the importance of, a lot of times I get asked the question, why do you have a podcast? Like, what does it do for you, for your business? And I've talked a little bit about this, but I really wanted to this week showcase that. One reason is I just came back from Las Vegas at JVX, which is a wonderful place for us to collaborate as entrepreneurs and share with JV partners what we're up to and to have them help promote things that we're doing and vice versa. And that can mean a lot of different things depending on people's business. But it really just, again, highlighted how important it is for us as entrepreneurs not to just try to do the one thing that we're trying to do, but to really collaborate and to make everyone better together. And it was great because, I didn't realize when I walked into that room, I was actually going to know a number of people that were there. And that happened only because of work I had been doing for more than a year to really start collaborate with people virtually online. And I think we're really underestimating the power that this can have, that we kind of see each other as only virtual friends or maybe only in-person friends. But the beauty of this is we're starting to get back in person. And so you have this opportunity to capitalize on those virtual relationships and take them to the next level. So I thought I'd do a little kind of walk down memory lane for those who maybe haven't watched previous episodes of Stand Up and Stand Out. And maybe you'll find, something that resonates with you and you'll go back and catch a previous episode. So when I started this podcast in 2021, season 1, I, of course, had no idea what I was doing. I'd never done a podcast before, but we were still stuck in lockdown for the most part. And my idea of speaking on a stage, really, it just wasn't becoming a reality. So one of the main recommendations from my speaker coach was, hey, get on podcasts, start to be on other people's shows. And I did that a bit. But I really thought, man, I want to control the message and I want to bring to light other good work that people are doing. So I started the show. And as I've said before, for the first 5 episodes, I did it all. I, made up the show. I figured out the guest. I made the interview questions. I did all the post-production and figured out how to launch it. And then I quickly realized I wanted to do mostly none of those things. I just wanted to be in front of the camera and interview the guests. And the rest was a lot of overhead. So I've been very fortunate to gather a wonderful team behind me over the years to now help with that and just feel very, very fortunate at the quality the show is because of the work that they do. And it gave me time to really think about, okay, well, what do I want to do with the show and what's the message I'm trying to share? Season 1, I went with people I knew. I was like, hey, do you want to be on a podcast? Sure. Okay, cool. We weren't quite at the, I don't know, what are we at, 6 billion podcasts or some ridiculous number right now. And it was people that were helping me through my transition from my corporate life into this entrepreneurship that were also, most of them, going through something similar. So it was really great to just have that friendly conversation with a lot of them and still friends with all of them, chat with them, virtually and sometimes over wine virtually today, or sometimes I run into them when I'm going to events. That was really a great foundation. And when I finished that first year and I sat down and I said, well, I wrote a book, I did a podcast, I did some virtual speaking, and a little bit of career coaching. Do I want to keep doing these things in my business? And resoundingly, I said, yes. The thing I liked about podcasting, which surprised me, it wasn't necessarily about, me getting up here and talking. It was meeting people. It was meeting quality people that I wanted to spend time with. And I realized the point for me to do the podcast was for me to network, for me to really get those stories from people and find people that I could continue to do business with, which I have. So season 2 was great because I hosted the I Graduated Now What conference. Super fun, amazing speakers. And we didn't want to give away 100% of their talks, but we did want to take some of those nuggets of gold and bring them to light as a part of the podcast. So season 2 was a little bit different because we had a blend of not necessarily an interview, but really kind of an overlay to their talks. So definitely catch those. One of my favorites, Charles Leon. Also catch his new book, sketchbook. It's gorgeous, of places around London and Kew Gardens. So, I thought I was doing things right. I thought I had things figured out as I got through 2 seasons. And then I got to season 3 and I got busy with my own stuff. I was writing my next book. I was doing many other projects, and I started getting on the road. And so I started taking referrals from other people for season 3. And I'm going to be honest, I got mixed results. I kind of took it on faith that people would recommend to me the people that would be right for my network. And instead, some people really, they just referred whoever they knew was looking for a podcast. And so, again, we learned from each of these lessons, but it made me realize the importance of this show being a part of my brand and the quality that I wanted to bring to it. Also, the expectation I had of the guests to promote the show, to even just like and, subscribe to the show and comment when they were on it. And some guests just kind of disappeared. They weren't really in the business of networking and podcasting. It was like, okay, one and done, and they were checking the boxes. They were getting it as something out of it for themselves, my audience, but they really weren't giving back to me, which was a disappointment for a few of those people. And honestly, I didn't refer them to other shows. So, that will just be what it is, right? And so, we learn as we go. And then I really just started learning the lesson. Okay, cool. I need to know these people before I put them on the show. I need to have met them in another forum. I need to have a meet and greet. And I need to make sure they are invested in making my show successful, not just me promoting what they're doing. So I started implementing some of those things as I went along. But I'm going to be honest, one guest from season 3 stood out head and shoulders above the rest, not just for that single episode that he did with me, which was kind of a random happenstance of multiple things coming together, but he really showed me what was possible through this ability to network and use your podcast. And he changed my business and he changed my life. So, this is a little shout out to start out for Michael Whitehouse. If you didn't catch that episode, it's episode 26, Networking Through Life. So Michael Whitehouse is a master networker. He now helps people run events both virtually and in person. Really great guy. And he filled my life with so many other wonderful connections. Kind of following that, he started something called the Elite Networking Group. And now he has other entrepreneur groups that you can also join if you're interested in taking your business to the next level. But he filled this group with a bunch of level 10 like-minded entrepreneurs. And many of those I have continued to do work with. And I even ran into, like I said, at JVX this last week. And so it was really an amazing thing that came together. And he's just really heart-centered, giving at all times, and really willing to connect if you're willing to do the work and give back to him. So just as a give back to him, I want to let you guys know, depending on when you're listening to this podcast, but if you're free December 12th to the 14th, join him and me for JV Connect. We'll go ahead and put it in the show notes and obviously on the NikkiGreen360.com as part of my events. But it's definitely a great way for you to connect with other people, including the wonderful and amazing Michael Whitehouse. And so, season 3 was a mixed bag, but I'll tell you what, having met Michael, it just was enough for the whole season. So we'll take the rest with a grain of salt. And it taught me to make a better season, especially as I got to season 4. In season 4, I wanted to promote my new book, Chameleon Mindset. And one of the things I've learned is that in order to make you look like an expert in your field, you need to have other experts in your field kind of referring you in. So I took that opportunity to bring in experts on the different areas of specialty within Chameleon Mindset. So if you guys haven't read the book yet, please get a copy. You can catch it at the NikkiGreen360.com/book. And so Chameleon Mindset, we talk about creating it. So C is for creative adaptability, R is for risk tolerance, E is for evolve your law of attraction, A is for abundance and growth mindset, the bookends of a positive mindset. And the last E is for emotional intelligence. So what I did is I took each of those philosophies and I had experts come in to talk about their view with, each of those areas of expertise. And so it was really fantastic. I really loved that season. Not only did it give me a chance to showcase the work inside Chameleon Mindset, but also bring a bunch of cool people to the stage that I like working with. One of those people is Parshell Tashi. So if you haven't caught her episode, it's episode 39, Growth Mindset and Continuous Learning. And nothing could be more perfect for talking about Parshell's episode than that particular topic. So Parshell runs Authors Leverage, and they are a company that help you take your book and turn it into an online course. And what do you know? That's exactly what I've spent the last few months doing with Parshell and her team, and it's fabulous. So Easter egg, guys, if you haven't checked the show notes, there is a surprise coupon, limited time offer for 50% off the online course if you would like to take your learning of Chameleon Mindset to the next level. But if you're looking to do some work on taking your book into an online course, definitely reach out to Parshell and the Authors Leverage team, and they will take you guys to new heights. And so the funny story of how Parshell and I met, totally different, but also similar, parallel timelines of these things going on. So Parshell and I met at David Fagan's PubPubCon last June 2022 in Las Vegas. We were both pitching our book ideas at this publicity conference. So her and I had some time behind the stage and, just time in sort of the green room as we were preparing to go on to pitch to learn more about each other, about our business, and we just resonated with each other. And Parshell, I happened to be in Las Vegas last week and I had some downtime before the event and I said, hey, do you want to grab lunch? And so got to spend a little bit more time with her, almost perfectly, a little more than a year from the time I had seen her last time in Vegas. So, guys, it's making that extra effort that really makes a difference and keeps these relationships going. So don't forget that. Don't just go into the conference, go in and out. Think about who you know there. And it's something I've learned over my career. It didn't matter if I was in Omaha or Singapore, if I was in Luxembourg, or whether I was, right down the street in San Jose, California. No matter where I'm at, I probably know somebody not too far away. And it takes nothing to reach out and say, hey, I'm in town. If they're not available, don't take it hard. But, it's until you reach out, you never know. And especially now that I live in Chicago, I tell people that all the time. How many times do people get stuck here because of the weather? Or, maybe they have a long layover and I go meet them at the airport if I've got the time. So please make the time and be sure you're connecting with people and not just trying to take all the time, but also give and see what they're up to and make sure you're supporting them on their journey. So Parshell and I did not win the contest at PubPubCon, but we did win a lot of other amazing contacts, I know, for her business and for mine. So I really want to thank David Fagan and his team for that and hopefully continuing to do some stuff with them along the way. So one of the people that I did meet on the stage there was Ray Perez, the #1 global branding expert. Many of you guys have commented on all my new branding and the cool new videos as I go on stage to speak. That has been the work of Ray Perez and his team, and I've continued to support him through his business growth bootcamp periodically as he does them both in person there in Miami and virtually. And so I was very happy with the work that he did. It's really up-leveled my business. It gives me a very consistent look and feel across everywhere you see me, social media, on stage, physically at events with business cards and things like that. So I just, really want to thank him too, that he made a very simple offer on stage and, tools that business owners can use no matter what your business is. And from there, more and more things and connections have happened. And when I was in Miami doing my photo and video shoots, I was also on his streaming TV show, Today's Premier Experts. So we'll put a link to that. It's on my YouTube channel if you'd like to check it out. And, only about 2 degrees of separation away is the wonderful Danella Burnett. And Danella was also at PubPubCon. She was behind the scenes running, registration and check-in and a bunch of things because what Danella does is she runs encore events and speakers need to speak. And so she helps people put on events like these and, make sure we're filling the stage, right? I have run into Danella a number of times now, which has been incredibly fortuitous. And I'm excited to go join her next week at her event, the Visibility event in Atlanta, which is finally in person for the first time since, I think she said January of 2020. So excited to see people. And what do you know? I have friends that are there in Atlanta. So I'm going to take a few extra days and I will see them and their wonderful new twins. So excited about that part. Making it almost a family affair. When Danella was here about a month or two ago, she was doing an event here in Chicago. I got to share the stage as Danella was running a panel with her and Cheryl Plouffe. And so Cheryl is another one that's kind of in this ecosystem and doing amazing things if you don't know her. But just always a very kind person, incredibly knowledgeable, and excited to see what she's going to do next. So Cheryl is the founder and CEO of the Scalable Business Accelerator and host of Cash In On Camera. She's produced thousands of videos and broadcast over 20,000 hours of live television as a national TV presenter. And so Cheryl, Danella, and Tom Matson have a new thing called Icon Maker Live. So we'll have some more information about that. I know they're going to do another event, I think in the new year. So as soon as we get some dates and links, we'll be putting those out and sharing them either in the show notes if we have it then, or we'll put it in our next email newsletter. But really exciting stuff on Icon Maker Live. They're going to help show you exactly how to profit from podcasting and becoming an industry icon in your niche. So exciting stuff there for those of you listening that love podcasts or love to be on podcasts. It's really taking not only your podcast, but your ability to be on podcasts to a whole nother level. So really exciting stuff there. So that kind of rounded out season 4 and my experiences that were happening behind the scenes as I launched Chameleon Mindset and just so many more people I met along the way. But then if you guys caught season 5, I was in the middle of launching 2 books within 2 weeks. And that was a little bit stressful. So I kind of disappeared for a little bit, but we're back at it and on the road. The new book that came out next was The Great Leadership Awakening. So along with another wonderful networking group, I'm a part of Leadership Global. A number of the wonderful women there are co-authors in this book with me. And so we did a little behind the chapter with a lot of those women to learn about their stories. And just amazing, the different industries and areas that they've come from and the life that they've lived and the things that they've survived and thrived through. So if you didn't catch any of the episodes of season 5, please go back and catch some of the amazing women of the Great Leadership Awakening. And so, folks, that rounds us out as we get to now, today, and season 6. I hope you guys are enjoying the couple of episodes so far, a number of wonderful guests still to come. And really, this season is about community. It really is about these connections that make our lives, that make our business better and make it better together. And I'm really thankful for meeting, the people I've named, but so many more. Not only are these people running great businesses and helping others to succeed, but they also, many of them have nonprofits behind the scenes, and we'll be showcasing a number of those through social media and our email newsletter as we get into November. As you guys know, I'm also a part of a number of nonprofits and doing different activities. And so if you guys don't know, Pulling Each Other Along is a collective that I'm a part of with a number of great business owners, really doing a lot to give back to kids with disabilities, running sporting events, and giving them specialized tools. For those of you that may not know, part of my history is my stepsister was born with cerebral palsy, and she never took a single step or spoke a word a day in her life. She spent her entire life in bed or in a wheelchair, but you could still see joy in her heart when we would go take her to the park and go down the slide together. She was the same age as me. She was a couple months older, technically, but it was quite the interesting journey to see not only what her life was like, but how other people saw her. And the thing I love about the Pulling Each Other Along collective is how they make these kids feel like they're just an everyday kid and give them the ability to really enjoy the day, not only them, but their families as well. So we'll put some links to the Pulling Each Other Along collective and the D3 events that they do. Hopefully some more guests will come from the collective to talk about the different things that they do and the ways that they are uplifting others. All right, guys. Well, that was a very full episode of just really good times. I'm very proud of the work that we've continued to do here at the Green Chameleon Collective. Thank you guys for your support, and continue to listen to the episodes, share them with your audiences. And if you would like to be a guest or you have a great project that we can collaborate on, don't hesitate to reach out and let's get connected. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Stand Up and Stand Out. We hope you've enjoyed this week's show. Please don't forget to share your thoughts on this topic with us across our social channels. You can find them at thenikkigreen360.com. And catch additional episodes where all the cool kids hang out that do podcasts. TTFN, this is Nikki, signing off.